Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. This week's top 10 list is going to be the top 10, what's the best way to put it? Odd denominations that you're going to find. Top 10 weird denominations. Denominations that aren't quite standard. And most of these are on American currency. So, yeah, these are all real notes. There are no replicas here. And it's fascinating that every one of these notes was spendable in this country. So let's get started. Number 10 is a note that everybody loves to say is fake, so much that it's got its own saying. Phony as a $3 bill. That's exactly what it is, a $3 bill. This was from the Somerset of Worcester Savings Bank, and it's a $3 note. This particular one is really really cool. Really good shape on this. It's got a little notch at the top here. But overall, the rest of the condition is really nice. It's interesting because it is a hand-signed note, and they deliberately used red ink to make sure that everybody knew that this was hand-signed. And you can see the signatures down below. This is a darker black than you see here. It's got that orangish hue to it. Same thing here. You can easily see that the two signatures were by two different people, and two different inks, two different pens. Checking out the back, that's a pretty impressive back on this one. The sticker on here says Confederate. It's not a Confederate. It clearly isn't. It's Worcester, what is it, Maryland, right there. And that would most certainly not be Confederate States of America, so the sticker on it's wrong. But still, a actual genuine $3 bill, even though everybody loves to say phony as a $3 bill. This isn't phony, it's the real deal. That's number 10. Number 9. This one is interesting because it is from the Mechanics Savings and Loan Association, and it's $5. Except it's not really $5. This was done on recycled notes. What does that mean? Well, a lot of the notes were one-sided, and this one here, you can see 1862. A lot of the original notes were one-sided, and since they used recycled notes, there are portions of other notes. And this is a $3 bill from the Merchants Bank, as well as a $5 bill from the Merchants Bank. That means 5 plus 3, that's 8, plus another 5. Technically, this is a $13 bill. You got denominations equaling $13 on this particular note. Even if you wanted to count the 5 and 5 as the same, you're still talking an $8 note. But yeah, so I'm calling this my $13 bill, even though technically it's not. Once again, you are talking hand signed. This one is out of Savannah, Georgia, and that one is number 9 on my list. Number 8. I pulled out my $4 Fort Moultrie note. Fort Moultrie is a huge fort when it comes to the Revolutionary War. This actually saved South Carolina, basically. Bank of the state of South Carolina is who produced this $4 bill. And we'll take a quick look at the fort there. Just pretty impressive there. $4 note from South Carolina. If we look at the back, it has been canceled. So it has been redeemed, so to speak. But yeah, a $4 note, that's definitely something we don't see too often. We've heard of $3 notes, but a $4 note, that's definitely a new one for us. So that one is number 8. Number 7. Well, we've seen a 3, we've seen a 4, we have a 5. So let's go one step up. Here's the 6. A $6 note. This one was from New Jersey, and this is the People's Bank of Paterson. $6 note, and it's got a cow on it. I'm sure it's a Jersey cow because it's from Jersey, right? Makes sense? I don't know my cows. Forgive me, even though I'm in Minnesota. I lived in Minnesota, and I currently live in Wisconsin. You would think that I would know my cows. I know my cheese, I'll tell you that much. Nothing on the back there. This one here does have a little bit of burn mark on it from a fire. This one was a remainder note. It was never signed, never issued. Still doesn't change the fact that it's an actual note in the denomination of 6. Definitely not something you see every day. That is number 7. Number 6. This is most certainly an odd denomination. From the Philadelphia banknotes, this one is, what is that? Manual Labor Banking House. and it's 6.25 cents. 6.25 cents. Um, it was drawn from a $500,000 balance. This note, where do you get 6.25 cents from? Well, 6.25 cents, everybody's familiar with a quarter of a dollar. Well, if you want half of a quarter, that's 12.5 cents. Well, if you need a quarter of a quarter, that's 6.25 cents. That's where that particular denomination comes from. A quarter of a quarter. So to see that right there, 6.25 cents on paper money, that's most certainly a fractional currency. And can we make out the date here to pay? Let's see. Is that June 1st, 1837? I think that's what that is. So that's pretty cool. That's number 6. 109876. Number 5. Even though that is is most certainly fractional currency, here is actual fractional currency. This is from the Civil War, and change was hard to come by. Everybody was hoarding precious metals, so the government came out with fractional currency. This particular one, though, is interesting because it is a denomination we don't have. All right. The lowest denomination for fractionals was a 3-cent note, and we did make 3-cent trimes. They made 5 cents. Well, we've got nickels. They made 10 cents. Those are dimes. They made halves. They made quarters. But this is a 15-cent fractional, and we have never made a 15-cent coin. That's what makes this one so unusual. So, yeah, to see 15 cents, it's just not your standard denomination by any stretch of the imagination. So between this and the 3-cent fractional, these are some of my favorite just because of the odd denomination. That is number 5. Number 4. Some of you are familiar with these. This is what's known as a goldback. And a goldback is actually made from actual gold. And the way it would work is a 1 goldback is worth 1/1000th of an ounce of gold. And this is 25 1/1000ths of an ounce of gold, which actually breaks down into 1/40th of an ounce of gold. And like I said, this is actually a polymer note that has gold wedged between the polymers, giving it that gold look. So when you see gold here, that's real gold. So it was a way of putting intrinsic value into our paper money. Now, it was a great idea. The problem is the price of gold fluctuates compared to the price of a dollar. So every time you would go to try to spend one of these, you would have no idea what it's actually worth. The price would change day to day. And because of that, this has become more of a collector's thing than anything else. And let's face it, with gold being $2,100 an ounce right now, it's a little tough to spend an ounce of gold. You can't go to the store and buy $80 worth of groceries and pay with gold. But with this, you could, if people could do math and figure out how much 25 goldbacks are worth on a regular basis. Anyway, it was interesting that goldbacks went with 1, 5, 10, and instead of 20, they used the $25 or 25 denomination, not dollar, 25 goldbacks. So that one is number 4. Number 3. This is from Wayne County, Pennsylvania, and this is a $40 note. You can see the date on it here, November 29th, that's 1859, not 39. 1859. And it says here $40 out of the county rates and levies, and you can see all the signatures on here. So $40 from the county of Wayne County, Pennsylvania, blank on the back. Yeah, once again, another weird amount. Normally you'll see 20, you'll see 50. They went with a 40. Even if they had 20 as their regular, you could use 2 of the 20s. So making a 40 seems a little weird. But they did, and there it is. And of course, you can tell that's the way it was actually printed. This isn't a check. This is a $40 bill. So that is number 3. Number 2, going way back, from 1776, This is Continental Currency, February 17th, 1776. And this is the Fujio dollar, if I remember correctly, and it's actually 1/6 of a dollar. So that is interesting. It's not a quarter of a dollar, it's not a half of a dollar, it's 1/6, which is how much? A third of a dollar would be 33.333. This would be half of that. So half of 33.333 cents. That's what this is worth if you were going to try to convert it. It's cool on the back because they've got, it says right there, 1/6 of a dollar once again. They have 13 interlocking rings with the names of each state on them. So that's really cool to see on there. Printed by Hall and Sellers of Philadelphia, 1776. I think that was a generous grade, by the way. Graded 10, very good. And it's hardly legible. So yeah, definitely a different grading system there. That one is number 2. And finally, number 1. I brought out my $10,000 gold certificate. Now, the $10,000 gold certificate may not seem like a weird denomination, except for the fact that we don't have $10,000 bills. The last $10,000 bill that was printed was in 1934, if I recall, and they were all made obsolete by 1969. This particular one was from 1900, and they had to be redeemed, this one being a gold certificate, had to be redeemed by 1933, when they had made gold illegal to own. You couldn't own gold as coins, you couldn't own gold certificates. You could have jewelry, but that was it. Everything else had to be redeemed. This was redeemed. You can see the redemption here, punched in the holes, and I've done videos about this one before in the past. These black marks, that's actually tape on the note. I've actually tried to peel some of that off, and it does come off. I'm not going to try to damage the bill, even though it's already been through a fire, which is a historical fire, but that's for another video. Anyway, that is number 1 on my list, the $10,000 gold certificate from 1900. If you learned anything new, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. Love reading all your comments. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.